Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is Sal, and I'm here to talk tech with you. So we're gonna get started today. We're gonna do a little project here that I saw on Upwork, which I thought would be a pretty cool video idea. And it's gonna be just a basic Python web scraper. And if you can utilize this skill, you can actually make a ton of money. I mean, there's people on Upwork that are um, giving $50, $100, $200 per project. I'm gonna put something up on the screen that's gonna show you kind of the requirements of the project that we're gonna be going over today, and we're gonna be doing a little bit of that. I mean, I believe the original project was like 100,000 records, but we're not gonna be doing 100,000 records. We're gonna be doing a little bit, and if you want to go do the 100,000 records, hey, do you? Okay, so to get started, what we're gonna be doing is yellow pages. So let's go over to yellow pages. Perfect. And we also opened up our Visual Studio Code, and we are in a Jupyter notebook. First of all, there's going to be some imports that we're going to need. And there's also going to be some prerequisites of understanding the web page here. Web scraping is, most of it is just knowing how the website works. And you can basically see how the website is structured if you right click the page and you click the inspect button, and all this crazy stuff pops up. This is all the HTML here on the web page. And this is going to allow us to tap into the elements that are on the page here. What we're going to do first is we are going to import. And the first thing that we're going to need, so you can type this with me, is we're going to be using requests. And request is going to be used in order to utilize the URL, which is going to be the yellowpages.com. The second thing that we're going to be doing is using pandas, and I will set that in to use as PD, so we don't have to type in pandas every single time. The next thing we're going to be doing is importing OpenPy Excel. And last but not least, we're going to be using Beautiful Soup. And Beautiful Soup is primarily used to access the elements on the page, which we will get into later in the video. So stay tuned. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to clarify our URL, and our URL is just going to be Yellow Pages. So let's type that in. Boom, just like that. And for the project, what we're going to be doing, I believe they wanted dentists across the United States. We're just going to be doing dentists located in New York. We're just going to be doing one page. So I believe it's like maybe like 30. I think there's like 30 results per page or something like that. So that's what we're going to be working with. What we want to do is we want to find, we're going to have to do a search query. So number one, we should make a variable here called search, and that is going to be our dentist here, and the location. Let's see our location here. So let's just say New York, just like that. Capitalize that, and then we can just plug those in here. Perfect, just like that. Also, we're gonna have to set these in as parameters. And here's where we're gonna have to find our first elements on the page. So let's get right into it. First thing, we're gonna have to find the parameter or the element to use this as a parameter in here. So let's inspect the page. And if we inspect the page, we can see that the input name is search terms. Okay, so search terms for this one. Let's look on the other one. Inspect this page, and the name is geolocation term. So these are the parameters that we're going to have to type in here to our parameters. The first one, I think, was search terms. And we can set that as our search, which is dentist. And the other one was geolocation terms. Why does that look like that? Okay. And we're going to set this to our location that we have. After we have that, let's go ahead and actually send this off. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to set up a web scraper that goes through all these cards here and collects all this data here for each individual dentist here. So like for this one, we're going to be getting the name, we're going to be getting the phone number, the address, and I believe they wanted this website here, and not, you know, that like the actual website that they have here, which if you inspect the page here, you can see the H or the href here, which is the actual website link for the page, and they want this to actually show up in the Excel sheet at the end. So this one's going to be a little bit more complicated, but not too much. Okay, and we're back. I'm not sure what happened there, but guess we figured it out. Okay, so next thing we want to do is we want to get our response back, just to see if we're getting something, and we're going to be using that request library, and we're going to get that using our URL, and request not defined. Did I not start that? Okay. Make sure you start, you play every single one, because if you don't play one, then it's gonna act like it didn't read it. So I use Shift Enter as a shortcut to run every single cell. See how it's running the cell right here? You can use Shift Enter to run your individual cells here. So just make sure you Shift Enter the beginning here where all our imports are. Shift Enter this one too, so that we're actually getting our URL and our search terms here. And then also what we need to do is, let me see what our response is like here real quick. And our response is 200. Perfect. Next thing I want to do is I want to add in our search, our parameters. So we're going to have search here, and then our params equal params, just like that. Let's run that, and we should get a 200 response, which we do. It's perfect, which means we're getting on the right start. Okay, so next thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to try to get the data out of here. So let's make a variable and let's call it data, and we just want that response back in a text format. So all we have to do here is just say response.text, and then we can print out that data. So let's see what that looks like. Awesome. So it does seem like we're getting the website back, and it's in the full HTML document. So right here, again, what we're doing is we are getting the HTML for the entire web page here, which is what we want, because we want to use Beautiful Soup now to access all of the things that we want in each individual card. So how we do that is we go and we use our soup element, so we can call soup, and soup equals Beautiful Soup, and we're going to pass in our data, and we are going to parse it. So .html.parser, just like that, and we're going to run it, and just to check that we are getting everything that we want, I'm just going to do a quick little thing here to get all the links from this web page. So what we would do here is, to get all the links, we would run every single, we would use a for loop to go through every single card, or to go through every single element, and soup is going to go through and find all of the A tags, which are links. And then what we're going to do is we're going to print every single link and get the actual tag. So let's see if that works. Awesome. Yes, it does. It seems like we're getting every single link back here. So that means our soup is running well. Okay, so on to the next thing. What we're going to be doing now is, so we're seeing that we're getting back all of our links here with this code. And now what we're going to be doing, instead of getting the links back, we want to find all of the dentists. So we're going to basically break it down into each of these sections here. And each of these sections, I believe, is a div class of info. So again, let me show you exactly what I just did. You just want to click inside of this box here to find out how to retrieve, like, to see what it actually is. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click inspect here on the box. And as you can see here, this entire box here is called, it's a div with a class of info. So Soup is going to help us out with this a lot. So watch, I'll show you. So for every single dentist here, we're gonna make this a variable called dentist, and we're gonna use Soup to find all of the divs with the class equal to info. Should be just like that. And let's call this back and see what we get. Nice. Okay, so it seems like we're getting back every single row here. And if we go through this, we will be able to see that we're getting the information on every single card. It seems like we're getting back all the information for every single card. So we have here the preferred dental care of Chelsea, preferred dental care of Chelsea. That lines up. Dentists. So we're getting back all these links here. It looks like we're getting back everything. So everything looks pretty good. So let's move on to the next step. Okay, the next step is going to be probably the biggest step, because now what we have to do is we have to go through every single one of these cards and gather all the data that we want from every single card. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a for loop to do that for us. Instead of just going through and collecting it from every single one, we're just going to make a for loop, and we're going to collect all the data in one loop and then go on to the next one and do the same thing for every single one. And to store that data, initially we're going to create an empty array, so that way we have a place to store all this data for every single card. So let's do that, and that's going to be dentist. Let's just call this dentist data, and we'll set that equal to in your list. And now we're going to run we're going to do our for loop, and we can run that by doing for dentist in dentist. So basically, for every card, which is one of these, I like to call these cards. For every dentist in our list here, we are going to find a name. We're gonna find. So I'm just gonna have these as placeholders here. So we're gonna have a name. We're going to have a address. We're going to have a phone, and we are going to have I believe it was a website. Okay, so these are the these are the four things that we're going to be using. Perfect. So let's take these out and let's work on name first. So let's use name, and what we're going to do is we're going to actually click on the name here. Well, not click, we're going to right click and inspect the name so that we can see what the class is inside of that or for that name. And we can see that the class name is business name here. So I mean, that's perfect that we can use Beautiful Soup to be able to access that. And how we do that is just like this. So we go dentist, find, and that is an A tag. Yep, that is an A tag, and that is going to have a class name equal to business name. Did I spell that right? Oh, I forgot my quotations here. Perfect, just like that. And then we're going to convert that to text. And then just to make sure that we are getting everything right, I'm going to print out the name and let's see what we get. Fingers crossed. And it says name is not defined. Oh, it doesn't have that here. Okay, let's redo that. Okay, perfect. So now we're getting our names back for every single dentist here. And that looks really, really good. All right, so now we're going to go on to the next part. And the next part was the address. So let's bring that down a little bit over here. And let's say address is equal to, let me check. So we're going to go back now to our browser here. And we're going to check on the address here. So let's inspect this. And the address is a P tag with the class name of ADR. Okay, so now what we're going to be doing is basically the same thing as name here. We're going to use our dentist and we're going to find a P tag with a class that's equal to ADR. And we are going to convert that also into text. And let's print that out and see if everything is looking good. And everything is not looking good. None type. Okay, so it seems like there are some that maybe have different tag names. So let's go to this one. Yes, that is exactly what's going on. See, this one does not have a P tag of ADR. This one has a div of street address. Okay, so this is perfect. This is actually really cool. So now what we can do is, instead of just having one way to find the address, which is the one up here, we can use a different one. And basically we could just copy this whole thing and put this up here. And instead of this, we're going to have a div, and the class name is going to be street address. And we can do dot text here, I believe. What happened there? I don't think I needed that. Okay, perfect. We're still getting the same thing here. So I'm thinking there may be some that actually don't have an address. So let's go through, and I'm not seeing any that don't have the address. Maybe it might be these ones it's talking about. And these all look to be the same. Okay, so we could do some error handling here, and something that we can do for that, we can call this our address element, and instead of, no, we don't want to print that yet. We want to go down to the next line, and we want to call this our address, and we want to say that our address element we want as text if our address element is true. Otherwise, we want to display no address. Okay, so let's see the ones that have no address. This should work. Cross our fingers. Okay, so we are getting a ton here that have no address. I'm still a little confused about that. Street address. Ah, okay. Okay, so what we're doing is we're missing. This is an underscore, and it needs to be a dash, just like that. Okay, perfect. Uh, that should work like that. Okay, perfect. There we go. All right, so now we have a list here of our addresses from all of our dentists, which is awesome. That's actually looking pretty nice. So now we can actually move on to the next step. So let me comment this out so we're not getting our addresses back every single time. And I believe the next thing that we were going to be looking for was the phone number here. I'm just going to use basically the same thing we have here. I'm going to say phone element, just in case there are some weird ones that don't have a phone number, which I'm not sure if some do or don't. But, better safe than sorry. So let's just try that. And we could do our phone element. And basically, we're going to be doing this exact same thing. We're going to be inspecting the page here. And we're going to have a div class here as phone primary. It's a very weird class name. And let's make sure that they are all the same. Phone primary. I think the first one was always a weird one. Let's try that one. Yes, that one is different. Go back, please. And if we inspect that, that one's just phone. Okay, so this one is going to be just like this one where there's going to be two. We're going to have to use that or statement again to be able to get all of the phone numbers from our dentist list here. Okay, so what we're going to be doing here is we're going to have dentist dot find, and that is going to be a div, and that is going to be a class equal to phone, and then we're going to have or here, and dentist dot find, and I believe the other one was a div also, and that was a class equal to, it was like phones primary, something like that. Let's just try that. I think it was phone primary. Let's try that. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do our error handling just in case there are none. So take that phone element, turn it into text only if it is true. So phone element only if it's there. Else what we're gonna do is we're gonna put no phone here also, just like that. And then we want to print this out just to see if everything is looking good. So print out our phones. And let's run it. Let's see if that one works. And it looks like it does. And it's looking really nice. So far, just to recap, we have been able to go through every single card here and grab so far the name, the address, and the phone number. And if they're not there, we actually even have some error handling here, which will show no address, no phone, or whatever the case may be. So this is looking really good so far, and let's keep it up. I think we're doing a great job. Okay, so the next thing that we need is the website here, and we don't actually we want what's inside of the website. So we want the href, the actual link, instead of just having the website tag here. So it's going to be a little bit different using soup, but it's still not going to be too difficult, I don't think, accessing that. So let's get right into it. All right, so we are going to be doing the same thing where we're going to have our website element, just for consistency, I guess. And that's going to be dentist.find. And now we have links here for this one. And let me check if this one is the same thing. Okay, so they are both actually links, which is a little bit different than these ones. So we don't have to do an or. So we can actually just type that in. So div, we're going to find a div with class equal to links. But I guess I could just show you what this is actually going to look like if if we didn't go any further and we just kept it the exact same way. So let's do that. Equals website element, and turn that into text. If the website element is actually true, else we want to have no website, and we can print that out just like that. Okay, so this should work, but as you see, we're getting the website, we're getting everything here, and all we want to do is to access the actual link inside of here. And if the website's there, then we're actually getting website here, which is not what we want. We want to get the actual link, the actual a tag inside of here. So, or the actual href inside of the actual website value in here. Like we want the actual link in here. So very simple. All we have to do here is, instead of ending it off here, we're going to do another find, and we're going to find that a tag in that text of website. And instead of text, we want to have the actual link. Okay, so let's try that. And perfect. Yes, we do have our links here. Okay, perfect. And it looks like we are actually getting everything back here on our website that has all of the links here from our dentist. So that's actually looking pretty nice. And it says that there are some that don't have the website. I just want to check that out. Okay, so there are some that don't have any websites. So I think we should be good to go now. So I think that's all we need out of this. As I'm getting constantly blown up by McAfee. I don't think we need the website anymore. I think we should be good because we have all the data that we need. We have the name, we have the address, we have the phone, and we have the website of every single card on the page. So I think we should be good to go to be able to store this into our data frame, which is the next part coming up now. Okay, so going back to our list here that we have, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be storing all this information into this list, into collective objects. And we want every object to contain all this information for each individual dentist's office. So we're going to be storing all this info into an object. So let's create that. So I'm going to call this dentist info. And I'm going to make some curly braces here, and that's going to signify that I want a object. And for the first thing that I want here, I want our name, and our name is going to be equal to the name that we put up there, right here. And we're going to follow lead for the rest of them. So the next one is going to be address, and that is going to be equal to address, and so on and so forth. Phone. I didn't have to do single quotes there. It looks a little weird. Next one's going to be phone, just like that. and website, and that is going to be equal to website. Perfect, just like that. And now what we want to do is, after we create our object, we want to append every single object to our empty list. And how we do that, it's very easy. We're going to take our data, just like that, and we're going to append to it all of our objects, which is dentist info, just like that. And we're going to run it. Okay, perfect. I believe that's working great. Let's just check it. Okay, so all we have to do here is put in dentist data, and let's take a look. And perfect, look, we're getting a list back, and each list is going to have the object of all the data that we have here. So our name is going to be equal to the name of the dentist, the address is going to be the address of the dentist, the phone, the website. We have every single object here from our website, and we can actually check the length of it just to be 100% sure. Length of that, and it's 36. So it's actually pulling a little bit of extra data in here from somewhere. I'm not sure from where, but we could take a deeper look when we get into our data frame or into our Excel sheet, which is the next step. So coming up next. Okay, so now we have our list and it is full of our information. And the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to put all this information into a pandas data frame. So the next thing that what we have to do is we're going to have to create a data frame using pandas. And it's very easy. Pandas is awesome. Pandas is one of the best things, or one of the best libraries in Python. Let's get started with that. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, let's call this our dentist data frame. I like to use df instead of writing data frame every time. And that is going to be a pandas. So remember, we use PD to abbreviate pandas up here from our import statement. That was one of the first things that we did. So we're going to use that PD, that pandas, and we're going to create a data frame. And we're going to use the data inside of our objects, or inside of our lists. And that's it. Now we have, once we run this, we will have a pandas data frame full of the information and the data that we just got. And we can actually print that out. So let's print out our dentist data frame. Oh, and I actually spelled that completely wrong. So let's run that again. And now we can run our, we can actually take a look at our pandas data frame here. So let's take a look. And boom, here we are. This looks amazing. We're getting everything back here, and everything looks really cool. Everything looks really easy to look at. There's nothing like out of place. We have all the links here. If there is nothing there, then it does say, no website, and everything is looking really nice, really cool. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to put this into an Excel sheet, and we should be good to go. Okay, the last step of this entire process is to add all this stuff into a data frame, and that's actually pretty easy. We can actually do that again with pandas. Pandas is, again, it's an incredible resource to use as a Python developer, or just in Python, anyway. So let's go ahead and do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to say pandas data frame, and we want that to an Excel sheet. And then all we have to do here is we need to name our Excel sheet. So let's call this dentist info .xlsx. And I'm not a huge fan of the index here, so I'm just gonna say index equals false. Okay, and right when we save it, we should. Awesome. We can open up our Excel sheet, and we have now an Excel sheet full of that data that we just collected using that web scraper in beautiful soup. So congratulations. If you want to go for 100,000 records in here, have at it. But I hope you guys learned something new. I hope you guys really enjoyed this Python tutorial on web scraping. And if you have any questions or concerns, please leave a comment down below. If you liked and enjoyed this video, don't forget to sub and leave a like on the video. And I appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you next time.